day 16 on grapes and homegrown tomatoes because they've been going off like crazy. They need a bit more shade from the sun because they're getting blasted where they are, but plants have been putting out very nicely. I think they've slowed down in the last couple of days, but just been producing too much to let go to waste, and they haven't been used by anyone else in the family, so just been curbing my deep-seated tomato addiction. So it hasn't been exclusively grapes, which is what I set out to do, but it's still been pretty good. Mostly grapes by volume and definitely calorie, because tomatoes have next to no calories, but that measurement doesn't really matter for anything anyway. Still getting stronger because I keep track of everything that I do exercise-wise, or most of it, and I recommend you do that as well. It's quite easy to see if I'm getting better or not, so I'd say for the most part, still getting better or stronger or more flexible, depending on the exercise and how I measure success. At least getting better, or worst case, staying the same, but I think I'm still getting better from what I can remember. I will confirm that after I do today's dense workout, which is 5 minutes on each exercise. Changes by the day what I do. Just added in some different exercises as well to focus more on the muscle groups that get left out, such as the rear of the shoulder. Strengthening that can also help your other lifts, your more predominant lifts like your bench press or push up or whatever. Strengthening the backside, the muscles that are more antagonistic or more stabilizing to the prime movers has been shown to actually increase that prime mover strength. Anyway, getting a bit off topic there. So 16 days, as I said. Starting to crave something else. Maybe back to my salad, but that in itself changes around as well, because I get kind of sucked into adding more things than I probably should. More fat than I can really take. Anything above 20% fat calorically, in my opinion, is getting a bit high. And obviously it depends on the fats that you're consuming, but doing that for a prolonged period of time, this could be months, years, decades. That's when issues start to show up. Diabetes and whatnot. It's not the sugar, it's the fat that's stopping the sugar from entering the cells or going where it needs to go. So obviously eating grapes and tomatoes, there's not a lot of fat involved. There is obviously some, because everything has a bit of everything, but from most people's nutritional perspective, there's no fat, which helps the energy. Probably still eating a little too much volume wise, so that could be restricting my energy a bit. There's more of a digestive burden than I probably thought. Definitely more than doing all watermelon, which I did not too long ago. 3 kilos a day is what I'm averaging now. It was higher in the beginning, but I find when you do these kind of monofruit diets for an extended period, your appetite kind of tapers off, so you need less and less to extract the same amount of energy, which is quite cool. But if you're used to eating till you're full and going into a food coma and passing out doing nothing after you eat, then this could be a struggle, and it definitely hasn't been plain sailing for me. I think we're all addicted to food, pretty much from birth. We're trained into it, conditioned into it, and a lot of us have that link of food and satiety, feeling full. So we need to eat until we feel full and satisfied in that way, but we don't actually tune in to our body and what it's telling us. And the truth is, we'd get much more energy out of eating if we ate a lot less, or at least smaller meals more often, but I struggle to do that myself. That is the better approach from what I've heard and what I've read. Energy's still good, could be higher, as I said, probably need to eat less. One thing I wanted to get out of this was to see if this mid to upper back pain that I've had for a while would change, going exclusively all grapes plus tomatoes. And I can say that's definitely subsided. I think it's come back in recent days, more likely due to the exercises I'm doing. But my back pain is definitely less than it was, even just eating mostly raw, like fruit during the day and then having a salad at night with varying amounts of protein and fat. Protein is definitely what cooks me, to put it that way. If I have nuts or something else that's a little higher in the protein and fat, it's really a combination, nothing's in isolation. But I wake up the next day and I can definitely feel it. Everything's locked up that much more. And then as soon as you get on the more hydrating foods, the more watery, the more astringent, especially grapes, probably the highest in astringency, up there with the citrus. Hence why the grape cure was so successful and why I wanted to do it. That, and also it's grape season where I am. I definitely wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't able to go and pick my own every week, which is what I've been doing for the last 2 and a bit weeks. I think it'll help going forwards when there's a bit more variety. Just been having, apart from the start when there were some white grapes around, just been having red seedless, red flame to be exact. Seedless is all you can really get here as far as I know, so it doesn't really worry me. I know some people get caught up in the seedless, organic, non-organic. At the end of the day, you just gotta eat what you can get, grow your own if possible, but obviously not everyone has the facility for that. And it seems to be doing just fine. I've heard of people getting out of wheelchairs eating just Walmart grapes, so the power is there. It's innate in the fruit, so there's always going to be some power to it, no matter what they spray on it or inject into it. So I should be able to get some blacks and some white grapes going forwards, which will help the inner glutton in me. Doesn't help that the reds haven't been the sweetest either, but you just push through it. I'm not dying to eat anything else. There is a little pang every now and then for something, as I said, like a salad, but if you curate your environment to not include any of those temptations, then it's a lot easier. Smells of cooked food and other junk food still smell good to me, which I know some people probably won't like to hear or would be surprised to hear, but definitely still against all that stuff. But I'm no saint either. I will, on the rare occasion, choose to indulge, but those instances are becoming less and less. And I just put how I want to feel above everything else, basically. So I'm looking at going probably another 2 weeks, hit the month, do a full January. I think the grape season here runs until early March, so that would be 2 months. Not sure how I'm going to go yet. Just kind of playing it day by day. Because I buy by the week, I kind of lock myself in for 7 more days every time I go and pick grapes. So nothing to slow me down at this point. Haven't had a healing crisis or haven't collapsed on the floor yet from lack of protein or energy, so haven't lost really any weight either. Maybe a kilo, but everything's been pretty cruisy. There's also a rash in the groin area. This might be a bit too much information, but I feel like I got to share it. That's been annoying me, and I thought maybe the grapes would help with that. I definitely think it is. Still a little bit itchy, but definitely nowhere near as angry as it was before. It was definitely angriest when I did all grapefruit for 2 weeks in Vanuatu earlier in the year. That was not pleasant. So that's when you, if you have options, have access to these other foods. You can use the detox pyramid, as it's called, incorporate a salad or maybe even a cooked meal, and that'll stop detox, hopefully. It works in most cases, but sometimes the body has a mind of its own. So that definitely would have helped in Vanuatu, but I can deal with the slow detox in that region, how it is at the moment. So there you go. It's not all comfortable, but it's not like these issues have popped up because I'm only eating one fruit plus tomatoes. I went on the one fruit specifically to see if I could make a change to these manifestations of elimination. And there hasn't been too marked a difference, but just going to keep pushing on. I'm happy with the back pain subsiding, and everything else is kind of how it was. Would like to clear up the rash, but still working on that. So that's it for now. I'll check back in whenever I get around to it, because that's how it works. Hopefully before the end of the month, or when something changes dramatically that I feel I should update you on. That's it for now. See you later.